Welcome to Romance Rex, where three book besties explore the world of romance novels and encourage you to expand your TBR. Join us as we dive into the hottest releases and hidden gems of the genre. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Romance Rex Pod. I am Jordan, and I am currently listening to Divergent by Veronica Roth and
Throwback.
reading Beautiful Savage by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. Yeah. Mhm.
Is that a reread or is this your first time reading that book?
First time reading it. I'm going through their whole catalog.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Interesting. It's nice that they still have books for you to discover.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have so many.
So
All right, guys. Hi, I'm Devaney, and I am listening to Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is an interesting one.
Hi guys, I'm Christina, and I'm rereading Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn to get ready for the new season of Bridgerton this week.
Oh,
that's so smart.
So buckle up for some bookish banter.
Thank you.
Buckled.
Thank you. We're good. I'm buckled in.
Today we are discussing summer reads.
Yeah, we here in the Pacific Northwest just had our first heat wave this past weekend.
Ugh, it was glorious.
It is still
I
spring.
turned on the air conditioning.
It was a
Ooh.
hot one. It was a scorcher for
Not
Washington.
a scorcher.
It's getting
It was for me. After 3 days of over 75,
The sweater's
I was
coming on.
done.
I know. Did you see her take her sweater off?
Look at
She's
those
getting hot.
shoulders, Jordan. Look at those shoulders.
Ready? I do have shoulders. Yes, I do have them.
tan. I do have a
Right?
tan line. Look at that.
Look at
Mhm.
that.
It's more like
Wow.
pink. It's more pink than anything. But it's fine.
Yeah.
But before we get into it and what qualifies, Dev, you told us you had this rant that you wanted to talk about instead of a quote
Mhm.
this week, and I want to hear what it is because you wouldn't tell us.
Yes. So I have a rant because I have been seeing this debate all over threads. And if you are not following like book threads or indie author bookstagram thread on threads. Is that why they did
How many
that?
times
Threads.
can you
that
say
we
threads
even
There it
connected?
is.
I know. Anyway, if you're not on threads, get on there because the conversations are actually diabolical. I just had to bear witness to arguments about why pregnancy tropes do not belong in books. And I was offended because if y'all know me and what I love a pregnancy trope in a book. And of course, I'm not going to say that every single pregnancy trope story is good, but there are some really good ones. And the fact that people are putting off this entire genre because you're like, no babies in books. Are you joking, babes? First of all, me, a mom of a toddler, no pregnancy trope. My life is pregnancy trope. Like, what are you actually saying? So yeah, I'm just so annoyed with the argument that pregnancy trope does not belong in books. I will give you that some of them are cringy. Some are cringy, but we may actually need to allow me to spend an episode talking about really good pregnancy trope books, just so I could get you guys excited about reading that. So no more, everything belongs in every, no, I'm going to take that back. I'm not going to say every trope belongs in every book because there are some lines that can be crossed. But pregnancy trope, leave it alone. If you don't like it, most authors will put, if the trope has it, it will put it inside content warnings, trigger warnings, or the general story. You'll be able to get it from like the blurb. Just don't read it, babes. Okay? Don't read it. And leave my pregnancy trope alone because I love it. That's my rant.
And I
And
like
scene.
it too.
Yes. You see, okay.
And I
I
don't.
know Dreda's like,
but,
I
but
don't.
I would,
yeah.
but I would never say it doesn't belong in romance.
Right.
It's just
everyone's
like it's just like if you have a trigger about things.
Right.
Like for me, it's
Right.
it can be a trigger depending on how it's presented
right.
because of my history with it. And it's like,
Mhm.
then I just don't read those. It's like
Yeah.
giving one
And it
star
can be
review
cringy.
for a bully romance having bullies in it.
Right. Yeah,
It's-
exactly. No, yeah. Totally. Avoid it.
Yeah.
Just don't read it. And once you figure out it's there, just be like, oh, this isn't for me, move on. But the bashing on the
Don't-
internet about how this is the worst trope, and then I saw people tag authors in their books and like rail them about why they would
No.
put this. I think that's what really started the rap because I saw creators and people tagging authors, and I was just like, oh, sweet
That's
summer
like
child,
me,
no.
who doesn't like beer, going to the bar and insisting that they stop serving beer because I don't like it. Like,
Because you
yeah,
don't like
don't
it.
yuck Dev's
Babe.
yum.
Yeah, don't yuck my yum. Anyway, that's my rant. So sorry I don't have a quote, but this was on my heart, so I popped out my little soapbox.
Thank you.
Stepping off of it now. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Christina, I know you had a quote. You were talking about it before Dev got here.
I do have
And
a
I love
quote.
it.
I'm
It's one of
excited.
my favorites.
I know. I just want you guys to guess what book this is from.
Twilight.
Here we go.
Did I guess it?
Just read it. Don't
Okay.
ruin her surprise.
Okay.
Fall down again, Bella? No, Emmett. I punched a werewolf in the face.
I just
The greatest
knew that
romance
was
of all time.
coming. Absolutely, babe. The greatest romance. I'm sorry. Wait, when was that?
Talk about age gap. It's from
I know.
Eclipse, the third
I'm
one.
trying to remember what scene. Okay, yeah, I was trying to remember what book and scene that was.
No, she's like
That is
stomping
hilarious.
back into the house. No,
She has
Emmett. I
broken
punched a
hands.
werewolf in the face.
Yes.
After
Oh,
she-
yeah.
After Jacob tried to kiss her and she knocked she tried to punch him.
Yes.
And Charlie
Don't
just stood
come
there and let the
back
whole
to
thing
me
happen.
now.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Charlie should
no.
tell him.
I
That's
might
'cause
actually
Charlie was
reread those
Team
books.
Jacob.
Yeah, I might have to reread Twilight. I will never again feast my eyes upon the cinematic production of the books, but yeah,
Well,
she'll
Peter
never live
finished
that part of
Cellini.
history down. Yeah, I think I might reread it.
Yeah.
Good quote.
She
What's
went
your
through
quote,
a whole
Jordan?
slew of them. My quote is actually from a book that I will be recommending today. So I stayed on topic.
Thanks.
Um,
Nudge,
right.
nudge.
so this is from
Shots.
Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer.
Oh.
I'll remind you that at your bequest, I haven't actually killed an intern in several months. Evie shook her head hopelessly. Sir, I hate to belittle your successes, but there are people who go their entire lives without killing anyone. His face remained serious. How dull.
Okay, that book has been on my list for a really long time, but then I saw negative
too.
reviews of it and it scared me off. But
It
yeah, I
is so
think I'll revisit it.
polarizing.
It is, yeah. I think I'll read it because that seems like my kind of comedy.
It's
So,
so
like,
fun. And I will get into it in a moment. But first, before I get
Yeah.
into it, why don't I tell you exactly what qualifies as a summer read? So
yes, please tell me.
we want to give you summer reads this year. I mean, we're going summer because we didn't want to exactly call it a beach read. Didn't want to get confused with the popular title. Also, not everyone has access to a beach. And sometimes you just want to pretend you're at a beach, though. And it's
Right.
summer. We found this quote. I think it's just off Google. But it's a book, usually fiction. In this case, it's romance, that one would enjoy during vacation or a day at the beach because it's engaging, it's entertaining, it's easy to read. So it's those quick things. You want to be fully
You don't wanna
engrossed
read
in
War
this
and
book.
Peace.
You don't want Crescent City world building.
Right.
You
Having
you want to relax, but you want to be entertained.
Yes,
You wanna be
exactly.
engrossed.
Very
Completely.
light.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean fluffy either. It just means
No.
plots where you can follow it, where there isn't that extreme world building and a million characters that you have to follow. So
Quickly
yeah, we love
engaging.
that. Yeah.
It
mhm.
sucks you in.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
You don't need
It
a flow
just
chart. for
Sucks
this one.
ya.
Mhm.
Like the sucking, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. There is some of that happens in some of these books. Yes. Naturally.
Yeah, I
I'll
can't wait
just
for you to
start.
talk.
I'll just go. I'll
Yes.
just talk about
I'm excited for you to
Jordan,
talk about
go.
Assistant to the Villain.
I figured that a lot of these recs would be contemporary or rom-com because that's kind of what you think of when you think of quick, light, and fluffy, right? But I wanted to highlight Assistant to the Villain because I just thought it was so fucking delightful. When you read the description for a book and they call it a fantasy version of The Office,
Oh,
I'm
is
there.
that what they call it? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
sold.
it's meant to be a comedy. And people are
Mhm.
on there, and everyone who I've seen that gives it negative reviews, are just like, this is ridiculous. This is no thank you. It's supposed to be like funny. It's
Right.
supposed to be ironic. It's supposed to be,
Yeah.
it's literally this high-ranking villain has his own headquarters set back in this woods where he has a whole slew of people that work under him. And he put to pull off these jobs and do these things. He has an actual office, right?
For his villainry?
Literally, all
Yeah.
I can think of is Doofenshmirtz
Villainy.
Evil Incorporated.
I don't know that.
Huh? I don't know that either.
Oh, it's from Phineas and Ferb. With Harry the Platypus?
Tough crowd.
Okay, never mind.
I did not watch it.
Us. Yep.
did
We
not watch
did
that,
not
sorry.
watch that.
But for all you're not the only one. I'm sure at least one listener will know that reference.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not
They
us.
can sing the theme song with me.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's just funny. Evie Sage needs a job. She needs a job.
We
to
love
help
when they're
her-
desperate.
Oh, she is. She's millennial desperate for this job, right? So with an ailing family to support, Evie Sage's employment status isn't just important, it's vital, right? It's vital to her.
Mhm.
Her dad can't really work anymore. No job is perfect, of course, but she sees this post for a new job and she goes for it. And she gets it. And it's just the banter between her and her boss, like the quote earlier, is just so funny because she's just trying to rein him in, not necessarily keep him from doing evil deeds, but just trying to manage this office, right? And it's just lighthearted and funny. And it's freaking hilarious. I think, like, don't go into it thinking you're getting Game of Thrones or Fourth Wing even. But if you go in it as like, this is meant to be a comedy, you're going to have a great time.
I'm going to get what you want.
Yeah. So
I want to read that one.
I don't want to tell too much about it because just
Dev,
Go
you're
read
on
it.
mute, honey.
It's crazy because I was really talking. I was really telling you how badly.
I didn't notice. I looked over when she said that, and you were into this monologue.
Like, waited a few seconds to see, and I'm like, no, honey.
Oh wait! Hold on. I want to read the end of the end of the synopsis. Now Evie
Okay.
must not only resist drooling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who is sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find.
She hadn't read the end of the synopsis. Because what I said on Beers, oh my God, I love this. It doesn't sound cringy or icky. Like, it sounds like comedy. And then you read the fucking end of the synopsis. And my toes literally curled in on himself at the cringe.
Not the toe curling. Someone could say
No, that's really. Well, no. Okay, what I was also saying is that is there a book too? Because I could have sworn I saw.
it's not out yet.
Okay, all right, but it's like apprentice to the villain or something.
Yeah,
I
It
was
ends on
so
a cliffhanger.
confused.
It ends on a cliffhanger.
Okay, I'm still gonna read it. I saw it at Half Price Books and I meant to pick it up, but then I was like, oh, is it good?
Oh, I
And
want
it was-
it.
Are all the books? I know I should have gotten it. Are all the books sprayed red edges, or is that like
I
a
don't
special
know.
thing?
I don't have
Because it was
physical.
it was sprayed red. The edges were red. I should have gotten it. If
No,
I go
I
back
think
and
it's
I
on
see, I'll
Libby.
get it.
You should have spread
think it was
those
on
pages,
Libby.
Oh, okay.
Dev.
I know I should have. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, that was one. Just pretend I didn't read the end of that. Then it's shit for you.
No,
Your ears on mute.
I'm still gonna read it. Yeah. I'm still gonna read it. I wonder if there's an audiobook. I would love to listen to that
Mhm.
comedy.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, you just can't take this one seriously. It's not meant to be taken
Yeah.
seriously. There's a
Right,
talking
okay.
frog. Like the evil villain, he keeps this frog in his desk, but it's a person he turned into a frog, and he
I
it's
love
his
that.
buddy then, and he wears a little crown. He wears a little. I forget what he's called. But anyway, it's just
What is the Princess
it's
Tiana
just-
is going on in this book?
it's just funny, and then there's office politics thrown in, and yeah.
So it's a workplace romance, one would say.
Or interest.
With a billionaire.
They didn't really get to.
It's a summer read, Dev.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It is definitely a
Mhm.
summer read.
Yeah.
So my second recommendation is one I just read this past week. I read a lot this week. Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. I've seen this one around a lot and I just never picked it
Mhm.
up. So it has a beautiful cover.
Mhm.
It's one of those books that hops timelines and POVs, which I wasn't a big fan of for the first part because it just kind of annoyed me at first. And I'm like, another one of these. But I like the characters really intrigued me, and I liked the storyline, and I thought it was really good. The characters are very unique. She is a wedding planner who's branched out on her own to start her own business. He is a reluctant florist, so he took over after his father passed away, his shop, and they like reluctantly fall in love.
Not reluctant love.
Yeah, because so they end up working together a lot. She is this super bubbly, outgoing wedding planner who like inserts herself into his life and his business. Right?
Oh my God.
And she only believes in casual hookups. She won't commit to things. Her mom has been married 16 times.
Jesus God. Sorry.
There's no way. That has to be a Guinness World Record or something.
I mean, I know. It was like so ridiculous. That part was annoying to me. I'm like, just call it 10. Did you have to do 16?
16 is
Yeah.
crazy.
So that was the annoying part to me. She
Mhm.
doesn't want to ever get married, but she also doesn't want to commit because she grew up. Love
Changing
isn't
daddies
forever.
every 2 years.
People lie.
Mhm.
Love isn't forever, but a wedding is a party. That was like the mentality she grew up with. She helped her mom with so many weddings. She became a wedding planner. But anyways, so she starts sleeping with him. Like she basically just inserts herself into this man's life. And he was like, what's happening? But okay. And he kind of falls in love
Right.
with this like whirlwind of a woman. But he
Mhm.
understands who she is, right? And that she is afraid of commitment. So he's like, I'm going to just have her for as long as I can and try to not to scare her away. The POVs start with like present day. She's working on this wedding, but they're not together anymore. They had broken up. And then it alternates back to his POV from the past, the beginning of their relationship. So you see after and the beginning until they finally
Interesting.
meet for the last little part.
Yeah,
So,
that kind of time jump is very interesting.
yeah, it took me a little while to be okay with it, but I think the characters are so different. Just the difference in their dispositions. And I
Yeah.
liked it. But he
That's
was
like
just
such a
really,
unique
he just,
premise.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
he didn't,
yeah.
yeah, and he was totally content just having her for however she wanted him.
Mhm.
He just wanted her. Like, he didn't care. He didn't even care about labeling it. He didn't care
sounds
if he
like a
couldn't tell
sweetie.
anyone. He
Yeah.
was. He was just pushover sweetie. And I know, I kept feeling
Mhm.
like, oh, this poor man. But it was great. It was beautiful. So you should go read it.
Read this
Not that
poor
be the
man's life.
pitch.
It was
Right.
very unique. And you get into it, right? Like, because then you're hopping timelines, these fabulous weddings and all that jazz. So my final recommendation, formal one, is one I actually read today and I had to add it. I listened to the whole thing today. The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. This was hilarious. And I could totally see myself reading this by the pool or like taking this outside to the park one day in
Yeah.
the summer. To me, I saw this book totally reminds me of a story of what happens after the surprise pregnancy trope book. So Gavin and Thea were married, had been married for 3 years. They have twins. They were together 3 months before they got pregnant, and they got married.
Sounds like my story.
Mm-hmm. But they got married.
Right. Yeah.
And there was just a huge disconnect. And to me, it really looks like a relationship they committed before they fully fleshed each other out, before they fully knew each other, kind of a
Mhm.
thing. And this is the result of that.
Mhm.
So she faked orgasms for 3 years. And he was just disconnected. So this is also sports. He is a professional MLB player. So he plays professional
Oh.
baseball. So he's
Yeah.
gone a lot. Great dad, though. Points for him. He has this amazing game. They have sex after this amazing game, and they were both so happy that she finally actually has an orgasm. And he realizes, he was like, what was that? And she's like, and he goes, have you been faking it? Because that has never happened when we've had sex.
Oh gosh. And then she has to come clean.
But she has been faking it since she had the girls. Yeah. He gets really mad because it really hits his pride. And he,
Mhm.
he gets mad and they don't talk for a few days. And she tells him to get out because she has her own issues with commitment in men because of her parents, sensing a theme
Mhm.
here with all
Right.
these books. But she tells him to get out and he goes. And that was her test. And so he listened to her because in his mind, he's like, I'm respecting the boundaries you're putting. She was
Right.
like, that was a test. You just left. Screw you.
You see,
So-
but play stupid games, get stupid prizes. Like,
That's what I think too. But by the
yeah.
so the whole book, by the end, it's having both of them facing the music, both of them having to
Mhm.
face like the choices they made and owning up to that.
Yeah.
But it's funny because his teammate comes into his hotel room with a couple other guys from the city, prominent other, like a NHL player and a businessman. He's like, what the heck are you guys doing here? They're like, I think he qualifies. They bring him into their secret book club. And these men,
loved it.
it's this huge group of 15 men, like important, wealthy, famous men. And they meet to help each other. They like pull men into the fold that they know. Their one rule is they can't have cheated on their woman. It has to be reasons that they can help with.
Funny enough,
Yeah.
all us book girlies agree the same about books.
I know. No,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hilarious though. They give him this Regency era book to read,
Mhm.
and it will read whole excerpts from this book that he reads. So you see what he does based on the book. And it's them talking him through what to do. Okay, no, dude, you can't kiss her yet. You kissed her and you tried to kiss her already. That was not welcome. You need to respect her boundaries, but be there. You need to show up. And they're like
Aw.
talking him through and coaching this. Like, didn't
Oh.
you read chapter 5? Where are you at? Look, man. They're like, it's not time for grand gestures. Knock it off. You need to earn
Oh
her
my
trust again.
gosh.
And it's just so funny.
That's so
Oh,
cute.
and they have a rating for these books. They have whole stacks. They all have come with bags of romance books. And they all talk about stuff, but they rate the scale of these spices, not in, it's like a 4 out of 5 spice. They call it a book boner scale. And they're like, dude, that was
That's
a
so
4
cute.
on the book boner scale.
That's sick. Love it.
Serious relationship issues they're dealing with, but it was freaking hilarious. So
It was
I laughed
funny.
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So read it.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
good. It's a series too, right? Is it part of a series?
Yeah.
Or no? Is
Yeah.
it a
So I have to look up the
standalone?
next one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to look up the next one. I want to know who it's about. I haven't looked it up yet because I just read it today.
Yeah.
But I also want to say special shout out for those audiobook listeners. If you're looking for something special on a vacation or just summer outside, try the full cast recordings of a book you've loved in the past. I listened to the second half of Fourth Wing because I love Fourth Wing. The full cast version was available on Libby and I listened to it and I'm like, this would be so fun if I was like on vacation.
Mm.
It feels indulgent.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel necessary to me to listen to books like
Mhm.
that, but it's just fun in the right setting.
Yeah.
That's my last.
It's a good idea. It's a good
Yeah.
idea to go back and listen to.
I've never
What do they
listened
call
to a
them?
full cast one.
Graph. Yeah, me either. So that might be interesting to go like
Graphic
find
audio.
one. Graphic audio. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks for your rec.
Thanks. That's enough of me talking. I really should stop.
So,
Christina, do you want to take it or
sure.
you want me to go? Okay, go ahead.
So I have 2 recommendations that are fun little easy reads. The first one is called Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. So I heard this started as like a Wattpad book or something that got published.
I think
least
I
that's what
heard
the-
that too.
One of the comments on Goodreads. So hopefully that's correct. But this book follows Sophie. She's a bride who found out her fiance Stuart was cheating on her again right before her wedding, 2 days before her wedding. But
Again.
her yeah,
Not
I know.
again.
But her fiance's father is her dad's boss, and so she's worried about calling off her wedding. So instead of calling off her wedding, she hires a guy named Max to come be like, to interrupt does anyone have any objections? And he stands up and objects, right? So she can be off the hook of her wedding, right? And confronts
It's not even a
Stuart
thing.
Yeah, like how did
He's
she
a-
find him?
through a friend of a
On
friend of a friend, right?
Craigslist?
Because he's
You can find
Trying to
it.
understand.
her bridesmaid
Right.
or her maid of honor found this guy, right?
That's
Anywho, it
hilarious.
works. Sophie gets off the hook, goes, orders herself back at a job, now stops believing in love, thinks love doesn't even exist in the world, basically, and throws herself into looking for a promotion, which it's funny because her ex-fiance still works at her business and they have to see each other every day.
Wait, okay, I have a
Oh.
question.
Yeah, this seemed.
I have a question.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to judge the romance of it. I just want to know, even if I had let the officiant use that line, if someone had said I object, I'd be like, then you can leave. Who
So,
stopped
I
their
wanna know,
wedding
like,
because of that?
yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sure
Taylor
it's
Swift
But I-
did it in a song.
Wait, but I would also like to know, like, so he stands up, he objects, and then everybody's like, oh, well, he objected.
No, because
wrap
he
it up, guys.
calls-
Like, help me understand.
He calls Stuart cheating. Stuart
Okay.
cheating. And then Stuart's like, I never did the thing. And he's like, well, let us see your phone. And then he refuses to do that. And then the whole thing kind of falls apart. And she goes back to her room and gets drunk. And tells Stuart.
See, you got to give me the deets because,
Okay,
I
sorry.
thought he
I was
just stood
like-
up. I thought he was like, hey, yep,
And they're like, oh, darn
Didn't
it.
need-
Guess we can't get married.
yeah, damn.
Thank you. I'm
Okay.
so sorry for interrupting, Christina.
Yeah.
I
we need this
couldn't-
clarification.
I couldn't get on it. I'm on board now.
I should have been a little more specific.
No, you're good.
Okay, so she throws herself
Yeah.
back into work. She's working on this big promotion. But then Max, the guy who was the objector at her wedding, messages her months later. And he's like, look, I have a friend who's getting married and his fiance cheating on him. And so I'm going to go object it this way. And you want to come with me? Kind of thing. And start going to different weddings to be objectors and get paid for this as a side hustle.
I want to do that.
No, this actually sounds like the coolest job ever. Because what do you mean I'm being an
This is
objector?
why I picked this book up because I was like, it's such a unique premise. I've literally never heard of anything
Yeah.
like this.
It's like the opposite of Wedding Crashers. Like,
Right.
She literally
it's a
said that he's like
they are
Vince
crushing
Vaughn,
it.
but doesn't look like him. He looks more like Henry Cavill. She talks about Wedding Crashers than Vaughn. That's how I was thinking of the movie. Wedding Crashers with Vince Vaughn.
Yep.
So anywho,
I'm caught up.
she starts doing these jobs throughout the summer with Max. And she doesn't believe in love, so she's refusing to acknowledge these feelings. She just calls him a friend, right?
Of course.
And basically a friend with benefits kind of thing. Might as well take control
Happens.
of my life and
Mhm.
have some fun kind of thing.
Of course.
Yeah. And so the summer progresses and you'll see where that goes. But it's fun. It's a
Right.
short little book. It's only 313 pages. They
Nice.
have some great banter between each other. There's a lot of swearing in this book. So if you don't like swearing, it's not for you. It's every page. Someone's dropping an F-bomb.
Interesting.
I don't mind that.
Okay, you
but
got
some
me now.
people
You
do,
got me. I'll
so.
read it.
Yeah. Jordan's like, that's all it took. Thanks. Yep. Sign me up.
It's just such a unique, different thing. So it's kind of fun to see this kind of character. And it's a girl boss, she's working on getting a promotion to VP and she's girl boss and up. So we love to see that.
Love it.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
Love
so
that.
that was
I'm
Happily
intrigued.
Never After. I have one more that I really, really loved. I read earlier this week. It's called Truly Madly Deeply by Alexandria Bellafleur. Pronounce her name right.
Mhm.
Just gonna start off by saying my wedding song is Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden. So that's
Of
why
course
I
it
saw
is.
this title and I was like,
Mhm.
of course it is.
I just know what year you got married. And I just was
Yeah.
like,
What,
yeah.
1998? That's when that song was.
No, because we're the same gender. This never. I didn't mean it as an insulting.
Like, of course you is.
It's a good song. I didn't mean it.
Okay. Thanks, Jordan. Just ruined my little lovely moment here.
You know, you're watching it.
Do you
You're
want to know
watching
what
a
my
train
wedding
wreck and you're
song
just like,
was? Because it's about getting high. Like, do you want to know?
Is it because I got high?
No, but it could have been.
Oh.
No, it could.
what was
It's
it?
fine.
Please share
No,
it quickly.
it's not.
please.
It's not about getting high, but it talks about it. Stolen Dance by Milky Chant.
No,
I
no
don't know
idea.
that
I've never
song.
heard either of these two songs.
You've
You
never
can't
heard
drink
Yes,
Truly
you
Madly
have.
Deeply?
You have heard. Yes, you have.
Okay.
We're gonna send it to you after this.
Anywho.
I'm sending it to you right now. Sorry,
Yeah.
Christina.
So-
Continue.
Sorry.
This book
Send it to you.
follows Truly, is her name. She is a
Oh.
historical romance
Oh,
novelist.
I
So
love
she writes like Regency novels and stuff, and she's been like a New York Times bestseller. Like people consider her like an expert on love, right? So she gets
Mhm.
invited to give love advice on a popular podcast. And that's how I was sold in the premise. I'm like, we do podcasts, we read romance,
Mhm.
I'm in love.
Mhm.
But the day of her podcast recording, she goes into her fiance's house to feed his cat and finds her fiance with another woman.
Jesus. These women in your book can't
And
catch a break.
and then her parents, who've been happily married for over 30 years, announce they're going on a trial separation. So she gets to
Ooh.
this podcast, no longer really believing in love, having a rough go of it.
She
And
lets it rip.
she meets the other guest speaker on the podcast, whose name is Colin, who's a divorce attorney. So she was supposed to be like the pro of love, and he was supposed to be like the antagonist of love because he only sees divorces all day. And
Right.
she ends up getting into this like huge argument with him on the podcast and ends up just walking out the podcast without finishing the episode, right? Because she's pissed at the world. She's pissed at this men in general, but she just leaves.
Same.
Yeah.
Then Colin, the divorce attorney, reaches out through her publisher and he's like, can you give me her number? Like, can you give her my number? I need to talk to her.
Mhm.
And this woman's like, no. So he follows her. He sees her. He doesn't really follow her. He sees her car at a store. So he stops in to see her. It's at a sex shop.
Good for him.
Comes in
Yes.
I love that for
and
Truly.
he's like, please, forgive me. And her best friend is the like manager of the sex shop. She's like, oh, you can't be here unless you're a paying customer. So he has to go around and start buying stuff to stay here and talk to Truly. It's so cute.
I love that.
And he's like, this is my sister's podcast. She's trying to get it big with Spotify. She has this deal on the line. Like, please come back and record another
Same girl.
episode.
Yeah, love
Right?
that for
I
her.
was like, I love this.
Mhm.
And so Truly's like, okay, because he really apologized. And she's like, man, like guys don't usually like have a meaningful apology, but this was meaningful. And so she comes back and decides to do another episode, and this picks up big, this podcast. So they decide to keep
Mhm.
recording a few more episodes and spending some time together. And Truly and Colin start to fall for each other. I'm going to say this is a queer romance because they're both bi. So this is great
Mm.
representation. I love
I'm sorry.
the way it's represented because she's like, I've only ever dated men, but I have this feeling for women. And he says, I've only ever dated women, but I also have this feeling for men. And she's like, well, does that make me not really queer? And he's like, no, queer is what you think it is. And he's like, however much you love. And it's just this, I don't want to misquote it, but the way he explains it, I was so beautiful. I just really loved it. He's like, however much you love it is the right way kind of thing. And I was just so in love with that. And so
That's nice.
they spend some time together throughout the summer and start to fall in love. But the spice in this book was so amazing. I
Really? Well, I saw the cover and I was like, oh, I love this. This looks cute. Now you're telling me this one. It's always the cute ones.
Yeah.
If
It's
he
like
was the
quiet
Barbie
people.
movie,
Mhm.
then this Ken's job would be oral. So
Oh.
Interesting. Good to know.
Being
Love that for Truly. Truly.
yes,
Truly love that for Truly.
336 pages. Just love
Yeah,
it.
nice.
Oh, also it takes
Quick,
place
quick.
in Seattle. So another little throw to
Oh.
Yeah, that was the
This
selling
author-
point for me.
this author has quite a few that take place in Seattle, and they're queer love
Mhm.
stories. I think, Jordan, I've shown you some of the other ones, like with the two women kissing
she
with
live
the
in
Space
Seattle?
Needle in the background.
No, I have
must
that one
because-
now. I have it. I
Yeah,
haven't read-
so most of
I
them
bought it.
take place in Seattle, so I assume maybe she's near the area. But yeah, it was great.
I think when I went into, because I was at Half Price Books when I saw it, I'm pretty sure there was like, they had signed copies. So maybe the author does live here.
This
Oh, that's I didn't think anything of it, but maybe they do live here. That's
This
interesting.
is such a light, fluffy
Homework.
read. And I don't normally like a
Yeah.
lot of contemporary, but I loved this book. I would read it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It was so sweet.
And the
Banter
premise is so
hilarious.
different. I love that.
I really loved it.
Good premise.
Yeah.
God,
Those are my
love
key
that.
recommendations.
So far, y'all are knocking it out the park. I'm like over here, like, oh my god, am I gonna deliver? Are the books I picked
Yes. you will.
gonna live up to it?
Yes,
Okay,
I mean-
so I have.
I mean, this is such a vague definition.
Hey,
You'd read it
yeah.
by a pool. Go for it. In a park.
Okay. I have 3 recs with a honorable mention, but one of the recs is a series, and I'll start with that one. So the first book I want to talk about is The Prince's Bride by J.J. McAvoy. McAvoy. I think that's the person's name, the woman who wrote it. But okay, I'm just going to read the blurb. He's a spoiled playboy prince whose family is in desperate need of money. She's an American heiress who can only get her inheritance through marriage. According to their families, they are a perfect match. According to each other, arranged marriages have no place in modern times, and this could not possibly work. But Prince Galahad Gale of Ersovia, Prince Galahad Gale of Ersovia is bound by duty to obey the crown anyway. Odette Winter doesn't give a damn. She doesn't want to get married. Can he change her mind? Can she even handle what it means to be royal if he did? Okay, so yes, Galahad was a choice. Galahad. This book was published in 2020, so Galahad was a choice, baby. And even Odette, for me, was a choice.
You were looking down at your paper. I was watching Jordan's facial reactions.
Oh, was she?
She went through all the stages of grief in her face.
I don't even know what my face does anymore. It just happens.
We're like,
yeah,
shock, acceptance, grief. It was all of those. Anger.
The names were not my favorite. Yeah, the names were not my favorite. I cannot lie to you. I literally would only call him Gale in this book. But the story is so cute. It's interracial. She's Black. She's an heiress. They have a lot of money here. She's like the rich girl, have all this money. But her parents are like, get married, babe. And then you can actually have money. And then like it said, his family is royal. They're royalty, but they need money. So it's definitely marriage of convenience, arranged marriage vibes. But it is so funny watching them interact with each other at the beginning, like when they first meet, and then seeing their relationship develop, because eventually they end up together as romance, and she becomes a princess, queen vibe or whatever. And I don't know, it was really cute. It reminded me of Princess Diaries, and I feel like if Princess Diaries was a book right now, wouldn't that be like a fun read to just read that right now in this time? So yeah, I love that. And I love that there are multiple books. And then the second book, I think it gets a little more serious. There's pressure. She's royalty now, and all these things are coming up. But I thought it's really fun. Super short. I think the first book is only 275 pages. So you can fly through it. Yeah, it's cute. Royalty, princess vibes. The author is also a Black woman. So love that. Support. The second book I have is actually not out. This book comes out May 21st. I have an arc, and it is Savor It by Tara DeWitt. First of all, I'm obsessed with Tara. Love her. I've read a couple of her other books. I read Funny Feelings, and maybe just Funny Feelings, actually. So this will be my second Tara read. And she just has this way of writing comedy and characters interacting with each other. And they all have a little bit of emotional baggage, but the way they process it and go through it together, it's always just so good. But Savor It follows. Hold on. Actually,
is this the one in Spoons, Oregon?
Yes, it's Spoons, Oregon. And I love it. Yes, because at the beginning of the book, it's like Spoons, Oregon, not to be confused with Forks, Washington. And I was just like, stop. And I think I looked it up. Spoons is not a real place. I'm pretty sure it's like Spunes, but I could not find it on the map. So maybe I did not do good research. But anyway, it's cute made up if she did make it up. Maybe it is made up. Yeah, well, I hope so. But so it follows Sage Bird and Jordan said, "Oh,
I don't know why I'm having a rough go of your books today."
She's having a rough time with the names of these book characters. I said Sage Bird. Jordan said, "Ooh,
I didn't mean to say that."
Is that an inside thought you had outside?
Oh, did I say that out loud? It happened. I guess it happened.
I guess it does happen. Anyway, yes, Sage Bird. She has lived in a coastal town of Spoons her entire life. She's learned to love her small world with the misfit animals on her hobby farm and her friendships with the town's inhabitants. But when her 5-year relationship ends and her ex, town golden boy Ian, suddenly gets engaged, Sage needs to win, and something that will convince everyone to stop pitying her all the time and put Ian in his place. There's a festival in Spoons which is like the town's annual competition, and she wants to win I don't know if it's
The
a
golden
canoe or a
spoon.
kayak.
Oh.
That actually Tara should have took
opportunity.
that would have been good. Missed
It would have been a
opportunity for
ladle.
sure.
It would have been a ladle.
Yeah,
Golden
yeah,
ladle.
like
the
golden
like
ladle.
the golden.
The super spoon. Get it like a soup spoon.
Yeah,
One
that
person
actually
you
would have
gotta
been
grab.
good. Tara, missed opportunity there. But it was still good. So yeah, she wants to win at this festival, win in this competition, but she needs a partner. She doesn't have one because her partner's her ex and he has a new partner. And then her farm, she has a little farm with her little animals and stuff. And right next door, she takes care of her neighbor's house. When they travel a lot, they're always on vacation and they rent it out, kind of like Airbnb style. This is where the male main character comes in. His name is Fisher Lange. Lange or Lange?
How do you spell it? Lang?
Lange.
She paused
That's Lang.
to watch your
That's-
response.
no,
Is that Lang?
No, that's my cousin's last name. Lang.
Okay, so I couldn't. In the book, I literally called him Fisher Lange because I didn't know which one it was.
I'm
family
family
friendly.
All of us who can't pronounce the book character names.
Right, exactly. I struggled the whole time because I was like, oh. So I eventually just like Fisher. Right. Fisher used to be a Michelin star restaurant chef. The restaurant that he was the executive chef at pretty much lost a star, and then he went into a tizzy and cursed out a food critic who pretty much tanked his career. But he was going through a lot. His sister died. His sister got into an accident and died. And then he was stuck with his 15-year-old niece, who he pretty much left back home in their small little town because he was out chasing big city dreams, being a Michelin star chef. So now he has primary custody of his niece, and he has to navigate that with also being like the worst chef right now, with like his face being all over social media and people saying they hate him. Anyway, his boss wants to open up a restaurant in Spoons. Why? Don't ask me. I don't know. It seemed like a good place to be, I guess. But there's like an observatory in the top of the restaurant where they can see the stars. And that's probably why, because think of all the stars you'd be able to see in Oregon somewhere like that, you know? Not Washington, in Oregon. But yeah, it's a cool concept restaurant. She sends him out there like, babe, you got to get out of here because everybody hates you. Set this restaurant up for me. Move back. Figure out what you want to do. She doesn't say everybody hates you, but yeah, whatever, you know? So he gets out there, he moves into the Anderson house, which is next to Sage, and they meet. First of all, their meet cute is quite possibly one of my favorite things.
Aww.
And it starts with Fisher and Indy, who is his niece, thinking that a burglar. That's a tough word.
Burglar. Nope.
Burglar. Wait.
Phonics of Mrs. Bauman.
Burglar. Okay, so burglar. Okay, they think a burglar. I'm so self-conscious of this word. Now I'm going to say a thief. So a thief comes in. They think a thief is coming in.
B&E.
Yes. And they freak the fuck out. They're like, oh my gosh, we just got here. There's somebody sneaking in. So, Fisher's going to protect his niece. They get downstairs, baby. It's the Roomba. The Roomba has been set to 4 a.m. to vacuum the house. And that thing was tearing his house up. The whole town, basically all of Sage's brothers work in either law enforcement or firefighter, and they get called out because Fisher is smart. He calls them out. They all come over. They realize, no, because I know my accent was on that. I'm not saying it again. Law enforcement comes out, and that's like a whole big thing. Sage comes over and she collects robes. So she has like cow print robes. She has like kimono style robe. She's like a robe collector, and Fisher eventually looks forward to seeing all the little robes that she was. Yeah, this is him. Anyway, I'm telling you, these characters are so rich. They deal with heavy stuff. There's grief. There's a lot of Sage always making herself small and being complacent with everyone else's plans because she just feels like she has to. She can't make a fuss. She can't want more. And so that's like really their like character drive is getting over that and pushing through that. So that was beautiful. But the comedy mixed into this, it was just chef's kiss. I really enjoyed reading them two interacting with each other. Yeah, I don't know. Feel like I haven't had a chef's kiss in a little while. But yeah, so that is Savor It by Tara DeWitt. That one comes out on May 21st. So as soon as that comes out, guys, pick it up. It will be such a fun read. I think the audiobook might actually be dropping the same day. I hope. I will totally listen to this on audiobook as well because I just know it's going to be so good.
Actually, this episode will be out the week after on the 20th. Episode should be out on the 28th.
Okay, so it
Oh.
might already be out, guys. You can enjoy it. It is also a short read, 336 pages. So
And
quick, fun, light.
can I just say, I love that the horrible ex, is named Ian. No offense to any Ians or anyone that named their kid Ian. Ian is my least favorite name.
Yeah, I got an uncle named Ian.
If I ever write a book and there's a character named Ian, you know that he's the big bad.
He's the villain.
Ethan.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Ethan.
that's
Yeah,
Ian.
no. Ian. I
Sorry,
don't like the way my mouth feels when I say the name.
Ian.
Ian. So,
Ian.
I'm sorry to Ians,
Ian.
but
What a
Ian.
random thing. But then again, I feel
sorry.
I can't read any book that has a Clement or a Jennifer in it. So
Not Jen. That's pretty common.
Right,
Michelle
that's a
Anyway,
hard. That's
sorry.
a tough one. Oh, not the family drama on air. Anyway, my next book is
Mine's not personal, but okay.
No, that's hilarious. My next book is actually fantasy, which is that was unexpected for me because I thought that all my books would pretty much be contemporary for like light, but I was really excited that I had a fantasy. This is Viciously Yours by Jamie Applegate Hunter. I may have mentioned this
on my
very
Kindle.
briefly. Please read it. Okay, the book is very short. On Goodreads, its average reading is like rating is a 3.6, I would say. But it's been rated 13,000 times. So for me, that's kind of high because of how many people have rated it. I don't know. It's only 278 pages. It reads kind of like a novella. Yes, I cannot wait to get the physical copy. There are going to be more books in the series, but this is the only one that's out right now. We don't know when the other ones are going to start coming out. This book, I just don't even know how to describe it. Let me see how Goodreads does it. No, this is too long.
I've seen it. I just haven't ever committed
I've had it on my list for a while because I found it on an Instagram post, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it follows Rennick, who is Faye, and his mate, whose name I cannot remember. And I'm over here trying to get the girl's name out there. And of course, don't you hate when they don't put the girl's name in the thing?
I hate when they don't put either name, but I also hate it when they only put one person's name and not the other.
Yeah. Wow.
Pause.
Guys, hold on. Sorry. Please pause 1 second. Amelia.
Oh my God, the way you yelled.
So it follows Rennick, who is Fae, and then Amelia, who is just a regular human. And in this land of the Fae, the Fae get the name of their mate whispered to them. Like they'll find out her name, find out who that person is. Maybe at a young age, maybe let's say 13 or something, they'll find out. So they have something to live for. Cool. But they cannot meet their Fae until they're 25. Their mate until they're 25 years of age. There's a reason behind the magic and them leaving the border and all that. So they cannot go to the human realm until that age.
Are all their mates human?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay.
But this just happened to be who his mate is. No, they don't even expect the mate to be human. I think they kind of expect it to be within, their species of people. So Rennick finds out who his mate is. He's at dinner one day. He goes, he's the happiest little clam. He's a little 13-year-old boy. He's so happy. He knows who his mate is. He's got his family. He's going to be king one day. Like, this is it. As Rennick gets older, until the day they meet at age 25, he talks to his friend about what he can do to keep in touch with her. He can't go to her, but like, how can he like check in on her or whatever? His friend suggests a couple of ways. One, we can write letters and I could deliver them. His friend can go back and forth, so he can deliver them. But they also have familiars, and Rennick will be able to see through his familiar's eye and spy on her and see her, right? But anyway, he writes her letters. Amelia is growing up in an orphanage. She does not have any parents. She's all by herself, like alone. So when she starts getting these letters, she's like, babes, is this a joke? Like, who the hell? Who is writing me? And what do you mean? Like, and he can't give too much away because where he is in royalty, he doesn't want his enemies and anyone to know who his mate is because that's a problem. But he can't tell her and, have her blabber and whatever. Anyway, we see the letters go back and forth. It's really sweet. And then is this going to spoil it? No, because I feel like y'all will want to read this even more. Okay. So obviously she doesn't believe him about the mate, right? She's very like, this is a joke. No one likes me. No one knows me. So she writes back to him, but she thinks it's a joke the whole time. One day she decides she's going to give a nice normal man her goods. She's going to just lose her virginity. She's ready.
I think I saw the
she's
author
going on a date
about it.
Yeah. She's going on a date. Rennick feels it when this happens. He's like, wait a minute. But then he's pissed because not only does the man act selfish with his mate, doesn't even return any favors or take care of her. He's pissed that she had to go do that. He knows it. He sees it through his familiar's eyes.
He watched
it and he was pissed. He's like, you didn't even take care of my girl. Like, look at her. She's upset. What a waste, right? He hunts that man down. And
yeah, he does.
He's unhinged. There's another scene where another female touches him and she gets upset. And I think he like cuts the skin off.
This is that book. I've heard about this scene.
Yep. He is unhinged. He is a fae obsessed. I have never seen a fae as obsessed with their mate as Rennick is with her. Like he sends her gifts. I'm not even gonna tell y'all the gifts because the gifts are actually unhinged. I'm just gonna tell y'all one gift. It's okay. What? Are you talking about the molds?
The dedication.
Yes. I want to bring yes, read it. Read the dedication, please.
For everyone who hates the word cock, I have devastating news.
Oh, this is the one. Okay.
Yes.
See, I've heard all these different pieces separately.
Yeah. It is such a fun read. It is fun. It is very quick.
Chat a long while ago, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to read. The characters whose next books are coming up, you kind of meet them towards the end of this book. So I can't wait to read their books as well. They're also Fae Princes because it's like seasonal courts.
So it's
so good.
Like cliffhanger. No cliffhanger.
No, not in this. No cliffhanger.
Fun.
That's a good.
Perfect for a summer read.
Good summer read.
Yes, exactly. It'll just make you want to read the rest of the series and it's not out yet. So hopefully by the time you finish it this summer, we get more book information. Jamie, if you're listening, please send me an arc of the next book. I am dying, girl. I am dying. Okay. That's all I got. Oh, wait. No, I did have I had an honorable mention. And the reason it's an honorable mention is because it's what I'm reading right now. It's Emily Henry's Funny Story, 50% in. And I didn't expect it to be an honorable mention, but I already know 50% in that this is going to be a good like summer beachy outdoorsy read. I do think it's on the longer side, but it goes really fast if you're listening to it on audiobook. So if you don't have time to like physically read a book, I think this is a good one to just have on while you're laying around outside or just kind of hanging out and then hanging out and just be outside. Yeah.
No, embrace it. No,
anyway, so if you're hanging out outside and just chilling, relaxing, you can like play this on the speakers or put these in your headphones, and I think it's a really good read. I think it will be by the time. Yeah. I think it's a good, at least 50% in. If I change my mind, I'm gonna let y'all know. But right now, it's looking good.
Love that. I think Christina, you said that you would do an honorable mention. What was your honorable mention?
Oh, a Fate.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Yeah, it's a fantasy one, and it's not a super quick read, but it's really intriguing. I couldn't put it down. And so if you're into something fantasy, if you like the show Vikings, because it's a Viking kind of theme. Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Hot Norwegian guys. Mm-hmm. So it's like magical Viking vibes. So they get their
I love that.
Get magic from like the gods Freya or Thor.
I still have to read mine. I'll put it on the list for this summer then.
It's cute. Yeah.
That's all right. Ooh.
Well, we've got things to read this summer.
Yeah.
So many coming out.
I'm excited. Yeah. And if you're listening, we might have things happening, events planned for this summer. So please stay tuned. We are planning a PNW, Seattle, Washington bookish meetup. That's in the works. So if you want to hang out and talk books with your besties, we're here for you.
Yes,
make sure you follow us on socials. Yeah, it's going to be so cool. It's going to be so much fun. So
I think we just nailed down a date. So we'll be putting that out if it's not already out. As soon as we get all the little dirty details established.
Ironed out. Yeah.
Yay.
Excited.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening to us ramble about our summer reads. If you're looking for more Romance Rex, be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Romance Rex Pod. You can find our favorite book recs from our episodes as well as behind the scenes content. Again, that's at Romance Rex Pod. So make sure to give us a follow, and we'll be back next week with another episode.
We will.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.